What's going on, wrestling fans? You are now watching Wrestling Warm-Up right here on WrestlingRumors.net. Of course, I am with you. It is the Doug O'Mac, Doug McDonald, right here in icy Travelers Rest, South Carolina. It has been a crazy day down here. Everything's getting just coated with ice. It'd be a different story if we were up north a little bit where you are, Alex, where we could get just some snow. But that's not where we are, and of course, I'm just hoping that the power stays on long enough tonight to get through Raw, even though, honestly, if the power cuts off and it cuts the show off, I'm not really going to be probably that disappointed, because I can just watch NXT again on my network on the computer, because I do have it charged up. But what's going on, buddy? What's going on up there?
Welcome back from the grave, Doug. Had a
Thank you. Yes.
solid time hosting, I guess. Not that excited for Monday Night Raw, but hopefully it'll be a bit better than last week. We have a go-home show to look forward to, but
right.
It is what it is.
Did you catch the NXT Takeover show?
Yeah, I didn't. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch it live on Wednesday, but I watched it either Thursday or Friday. No, it was probably Thursday. I watched all the matches except maybe there were one or two. It was the Lucha Dragons tag match and it's Baron Corbin and somebody, I think. But
yeah, it was Bold MC again. They faced off again. Actually, it was a decent match. It was really good.
Yeah, but everything I watched was pretty solid. I mean, the Divas match was right up there with Natalya versus Charlotte from that might have been the first or second takeover, I think. But I mean, obviously the main event was a huge selling point.
Yeah, I mean I can't believe how good. Or I should say I can't believe, but I do believe because it's been consistent every single NXT special has been amazing, and this one was just as good and if not better. I mean, the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn main event was phenomenal, and of course the daggum Divas match. I can't even get over how good the women's wrestling is in NXT. And it's Triple H's baby, where he doesn't want the models to be the the main attraction. He wants it to be actual women's wrestling. I mean, what were your favorite spots about that match, man? For me, all four girls did amazing work. Freaking Sasha Banks showed up and showed out. Bayley showed up and showed out. I hate her gimmick, but she can go in the ring, so I'm not mad at that. But what'd you think about that match, man? It wasn't a piss break.
No, definitely not. That was the last match too, I think, before Owens versus Zayn, correct?
Yeah, it was the second match, the second to the end, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a co-main event. Obviously the only one diva that I was woman, they're not really divas down there, that I was familiar with was Charlotte. I heard of the other three. I saw Bayley wrestle a couple times. Becky Lynch, that was the first time I saw her wrestle. Sasha Banks. I mean, you can't really fault any of the four. They all played a key role in the match. They all just had very good spots all around too. And the big thing for me throughout this entire event, just in general, the commentary really adds so much more to every single match than you see on Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views. They had I forget the actual play-by-play guy, but they had Jason Alberts, whatever the hell his name is, Corey Graves. They both did a fantastic job calling that match, along with the play-by-play guy whose name I cannot remember. But all in all, it was a very good night.
I mean, the fact. Hang on one second, buddy. There's people saying they can't get into the show in our chat room, which I don't understand. That we're live, so I don't know what the deal is. Let's see what's going on here. I don't want people to miss out on anything we have to say here. Technical difficulties, folks. I don't know what the deal is with YouTube. What's going on? Yeah, I don't know. Not really sure what the deal is. All right, let's see what's going on here. Hang on, water. We're frozen right now, people. Everybody that's watching this on YouTube, you're just hang there with us.
Walter's here to save the day, or at least make things worse.
Well, Walter, we're talking about take over. I'll do this.
Sorry, say that again. You froze.
So, what's your thoughts on Takeover? We were talking about Takeover before I started trying to
Oh,
get our link working.
for Takeover, sure. It seems like forever ago, to be honest.
I know it was Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm completely losing it. But yeah, I think at least the final three matches on the card were solid. If you just take out Baron Corbin versus Bull Dempsey, which wasn't even a no disqualification match. I don't know why you have to brand it as such. And then Sin Cara resorting to Mystico standards and botching a little bit. That was kind of funny. But in terms of the main event, the number one contenders match, the women's championship match, I think NXT just continues to raise the bar with every takeover show, and there's a reason why you keep seeing these reports of WWE superstars being frustrated over the fact that they can't get the same amount of in-ring time as these guys, because everyone on Twitter, with social media being such a big thing, we keep praising NXT, and it's because it's the better brand right now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's been the kicker is one writer, a couple of guys actually calling matches, and Triple H and Dusty Rhodes being the last two, and William Regal actually, as he's working as the general manager, but he actually is an agent as well, so he has a final say too. It's just those guys putting it together, and it's so much better. It's so simple. And I mean, you wrote some stories earlier on the site, like, there are some people in WWE that are pissed off about how good NXT is because Raw sucks.
Which shouldn't be the case because it has 3 hours every Monday night. Like, you would think they would have time to put on some meaningful 20 to 25-minute matches, but that's what we're getting on NXT with, by the way, the better wrestlers in the company. You see all of these indie guys coming up, like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor. These are some of the most well-renowned wrestlers who were never in the WWE, across the globe. So now they're in WWE's umbrella in NXT. NXT gets me excited. I can't say WWE gets me excited, even though we're on the road to WrestleMania. We got a pay-per-view coming up on Sunday. It's funny. Like, I just don't care. Like, I mean, even for WrestleMania, it's like, all right, well, we don't even know what the main event is, and it's almost a month away. We got, like, Triple H and Sting coming up on the horizon. Randy Orton's not even back. I'm just, like, bleh on the whole situation, but not on NXT.
Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I should definitely start watching like the actual like main editions of NXT programming, because even though they are taped in advance or taped in which I think is actually something that benefits them a lot, taping like multiple episodes of NXT on just one day. I can't get that excited over WWE as much as I do get excited about the NXT Takeover events, but at the same time, we're at a point now where after this showing on Monday Night Raw, we basically start off with what should be a lot better Raws in terms of star power, because the night after Fastlane next week, we're probably going to see The Undertaker. We're going to get a lot more. We're going to have a lot better of a picture of what WrestleMania 31 actually shapes up to be with the main event, with a lot of other matches. So it should be not too bad after this.
Looks like we have some more viewers, so it looks like the link is working now. I don't know what the deal was. Sorry for anyone that was trying to come in, watch the show, and you couldn't see it earlier. I don't know what the deal was. It just said starting soon. I went and looked at it. Don't know what the deal was. You put the same exact link back in the story, and boom, there we are. So I don't know what is happening with YouTube. Looks like they're just having some issues on their end. Welcome to Wrestling Warm Up. We were talking about NXT Takeover and how much better that programming is than the main roster programming. To sum up what we were just talking about before you guys even could come in and on the show and hang out with us. The Neville Balor match was phenomenal. Obviously, it's the little things in wrestling that get you excited. It's the little things that make you mark out, if you will. And Balor, when he's in his war paint, and he gets the Undertaker entrance, he gets 2.5, 3 minutes to come down the ring, crawling on the floor, doing whatever he does. Man, I don't know what the deal is, but I love the fact that they give him this time. As far as it's the little things. He when he's crawling towards the camera, because he has the teeth painted on him, he shoves his neck into the camera like the teeth are trying to bite the camera, like that. It's little things like that characters don't even try to do on Raw anymore. It's little things like that make me appreciate NXT more and appreciate the people in NXT. Like Bray Wyatt may be the only character that's still trying to do stuff like that on the main roster. But even now, I mean, you get the promos, but there's no rocking chair. There's no, he's the leader. He's a cultist leader who has no cult, and it just makes zero sense that he's still who he is without anybody following him. So it's one of these things where I really think that it would still be better off if he had a rocking chair. I mean, he does bring out the lantern, but if he had the rocking chair, he had followers, all that kind of stuff, we would see more stuff like this. But freaking A, I'm getting tired of Hideo Itami teasing to go to sleep and not using that move. There's no point in him not using that move anymore. Like why is he still yet to use that move? He just does a stupid kick to the head, and that's his finish. I mean, I still think we got some really good stuff. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was a masterpiece as far as telling a story goes. I hate the fact that the title changed hands because pinfall and submission is supposed to be the only way that a title should change hands. They even said that at the beginning of the match, and they still went with a forfeit win, like a TKO. I love a TKO finish. That makes Kevin Owens look nasty. But the title changed hands? Why? I don't get it. I don't get it. The finishes of NXT can be better. That bothered me a little bit. And as far as finishing moves go, Balor's off the top rope double stomp could be why he's not using like the other move that he likes to do, the
reverse DDT.
It's an old school curtain call almost. It's instead of falling forward, he falls backwards with it. So it's like Goldust old curtain call, but he falls back with it. I don't like the double stomp. It never looks like it's super. Now he did it to the back of Neville's head, and that should have been the finish. Like that looked awesome. Like it looked a lot better going to the neck than it does going to the midsection. Every time he hits someone in the midsection, when it just looks, I don't know, it doesn't look that imposing.
Well, the one on Neville looked pretty brutal.
It's just one. I don't like it. I don't like that as a finish. I don't like Hideo Itami's when he should be using the go to sleep because he's the one that made that famous in the first place. It's just.
And remember, Balor's not that
It's the
big
little
either.
things. It's the little things.
Like he's not that big. Like if he goes to the main roster, the foot stomp is as good a finisher as you'll get. Considering if he goes up against a bigger guy, he ain't gonna be giving no curtain call to anybody.
Yeah, but I don't want to see him try to freaking double stomp Big Show and mess his ankle up, because it just most of the time when he comes off that thing, it looks sloppy. It looked great on Neville, but it looks sloppy on bigger dudes. And like with the Ascension, it looked sloppy. It just doesn't look good. So
because you're always going to slip off the guy at the end of the move, right?
Right, and it just doesn't look. It's not an imposing finisher. So I don't know. New finishers and maybe getting being more concise about the endings of matches. Like, don't promote that the only way that Kevin Owens can win the NXT Championship is by pinfall or submission, and then hand him the title after he knocks out Sami Zayn, and for health reasons they stop the match. It's not the right way to book your angles. But that said, the match was awesome. The women's wrestling match was a freaking match of the year candidate because those four girls did amazing.
Why were the commentators so harsh on Lynch? Am I missing something? Like, they buried her the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just tried to make it known that the three actual combatants that have worked in NXT longer and actually have a chance at winning this title are Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte, of course, who was the champion until Sasha Banks stole the victory. But kudos to all four women because it was a great match. Definitely wasn't a piss break. And these, seriously, no, P. Joe in the chat room. That was not a submission. It's not a submission. Sami Zayn did not give up. The referee called the match. Don't say it's technically a submission that it was a submission and the title changed hands that way. Don't do that. I respect your opinion, dude, but no, it's not a submission, technically. Technically, it was a knockout.
Hey, look, the crowd is ready to crap on that finish if the belt did not change hands. That was a typical WWE ending where we get no decisive finish on a major show. I'm perfectly okay with them moving the belt over to Owens. I mean, considering, Zayn's on the tour, he missed the taping, so he's going to be gone the next 4 episodes anyway.
Yeah, I agree, and I understand that, but it's just one of those things that just bother me. I don't hate it. I don't hate the finish. If they would have said, or if they start including TKO as a stipulation, then I'm fine with it.
But if you say it right before that match in particular, people will know something's up because it's something they don't normally do.
I understand, but at the same time, don't broadcast that they can only win by pinfall or submission. It's different when someone has you in a submission hold, P. Joe, and you pass out. That's different. Because the ref goes over and picks your hands up and drops it 3 times. That didn't happen with Sami Zayn. The ref just called it because Dr. Z-Pack came in and told him to call the match. So don't tell me it's the same, because, no, the hands have to be lifted, and they have to drop 3 times for a submission to count when someone's passed out in that realm as well. So that point is over and planted and firm, okay? It's not the same thing. But outside of the actual finish, the match was great. The whole event was great. It's just so much more fun to watch than Raw. That being said, we're going to start talking about Raw, because tonight is the go-home show for Fastlane, which, let's be honest, the only thing selling Fastlane right now is the fact that Sting's going to talk for the first time in WWE, and we're going to see Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns and finally get a definitive view of what we're going to be seeing going into WrestleMania 31. There's rumors everywhere that Vince has had a sit-down and has changed this thing. Apparently, people have been, people have to get promos ready. People have to get advertisements for WrestleMania ready. I mean, we're a month out almost. So the company has been telling, and we know this because we know someone that works for the company. The company has been telling those advertisers that it's going to be a triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That's basically what people in the back have been told. Okay, that it's going to be Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania. Whether or not we see that come to fruition and get actually pinned down this coming Sunday or not, we'll find out. I mean, we just got to watch to figure out how this thing's going to end, to where they both get to go to WrestleMania. Not sure what else they're going to do there, but of course Sting will be appearing and will be going face to face with Triple H, actually speaking. I don't know if they even do. I assume before WrestleMania they'll do a contract signing, and Sting will use 2 more of his appearances between Fastlane and WrestleMania to get all 6 of his appearances in from his contract. I don't think they'll do a WrestleMania contract signing this Sunday. There's been no talk of a WrestleMania match, so people are asking us, do we think Sting interacting with Triple H will be a contract signing on Sunday? No. They're just going to interact and possibly get physical. Maybe the Authority tries to attack Sting. Not really sure what's going to go over there, but Sting is the selling point. No one's heard him talk yet in the company. Sting, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan. That's Fastlane. So with that said, for the go-home show for Fastlane, no Sting, no Taker yet, no Orton. 2 legends return. We're going to have Dusty Rhodes on the show tonight, and we're going to have Ric Flair on the show tonight. Ric Flair is going to talk about Sting to Triple H. What do you guys think they're going to talk about? Ric Flair has a big history with Sting, if people don't know, in WCW. Ric Flair was was the guy that got Sting over in the position that he was in. 92 won his first WCW World Heavyweight Championship from Ric Flair. Had a great rivalry. They wrestled on the first Monday Night Raw. They wrestled on the first Monday Nitro. They wrestled on the last Monday Nitro, which Flair hates because he wrestled in a T-shirt. Which we're very much hoping that Sting has gotten into good shape where he doesn't have to wear a T-shirt at WrestleMania. Much like his last year in TNA, which was terrible. But what do you guys think about this? What do you think we're going to hear from Triple H and Ric Flair tonight talking about Sting?
Yeah, like you said, Doug, I think we're just going to have Flair talk about his previous encounters with Sting. He's going to talk up his WCW feuds with him throughout the years, and then I think you're basically just going to have Flair just give a warning to Triple H. You don't want to take this guy lightly. You want to be on your game, and then either Triple H is going to maybe smarten up a little bit, or what I think he'll do, he'll still just take him with a grain of salt. Then at Fastlane, he'll actually get serious about it.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, he took the words right out of my mouth. I reported this earlier for WrestlingRumors.net. They decided on this segment over the weekend to bring Flair in and kind of, foreshadow what's going to happen at Fastlane. Kind of warn Triple H, hey, Sting is a bad man. You do not want to screw with this guy. We have a storied history, and I'm going to give you the lowdown on why Sting. You need to take caution. So I don't think it's going to be anything, over the top. I mean, we've hyped up Ric Flair appearances on Raw before, and they've never actually delivered. Usually it's just him saying, I endorse wrestler A, or I endorse wrestler B, or he just slurs his words, or he rambles on. So, sure, on paper it looks interesting, but in retrospect it's probably nothing. It's not going to be much that we're going to talk about later.
No. I don't think anything about that. I don't think that's the case with Ric Flair appearing tonight. But I do think it's interesting that Ric Flair over the weekend talked about not being used very much and talked about WWE not using him a lot on programming as of late. And then they schedule him to be on a segment. So I think that's pretty funny that under contract with WWE, he goes and says, you know, this is why they don't use me this much and all this kind of stuff, and then they book him in a segment. I think that's a direct response to that, to his comments, and them trying to fill 3 hours. That's it. It's name power to get people to watch the show, and the fact that he said something about the fact that he's not being used like he needs to be, because you know Triple H is going to try to use Flair whenever he can. It's because it's Flair. So that's where we are there. And Flair's getting a podcast. We haven't talked about this. Flair's going to have a podcast. Are we ready? Is the world ready for a Flair podcast?
Look, if you give him a live microphone and let him, you know, shoot the wind for an hour, that's fine. But him as an interviewer, I need to, you know, listen to it once before I really buy into the whole premise. I mean, Ric Flair is the kind of guy who's, you know, into business for himself, and he's been in business for himself throughout his entire career. So for him to sit there and have to listen to other people, you know, through him asking questions, I don't know why he agreed to do this. I think he would rather just sit there and listen to himself talk for 60 minutes.
Oh, it's gonna be Flair telling stories the entire time. Don't get it twisted. If it's Ric Flair's podcast, people will be coming on as guests, but they're going to get 3 words in edgewise. That's it. Like, it's going to be Flair.
Yeah.
I'm going to love it. It's just going to be him talking about he can't hold his Gators down, and Space Mountain's still alive, and he can't go back to North Carolina or he'll get arrested. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But Dusty Rhodes is also going to be on Raw. What do you guys think we see there? Do we get a return to the whole Rhodes angle that we saw begin 2 years ago?
Well, this match needs to be at Fastlane, first and foremost. A lot of people are talking about Stardust versus Goldust at WrestleMania, and frankly, I don't think that's worthy of being an undercard match at WrestleMania, especially when you have a more deserving feud of Miz and Damien Mizdow kind of lingering out there, and I don't want to see those two guys thrown into the Andre Battle Royal. I would rather those two get a singles match near the start of the card. So, and Cody versus Goldust kind of, you know, it feels like a Fastlane match. I think Dusty Rhodes will come out tonight, hype that thing up, you know, try and calm down the nerves between both guys. But again, we've seen this tease so many times in the past that now that it's finally here, I just really don't care.
See, well, I kind of agree that it should be Miz and Mizdow that get the WrestleMania moment. I don't think that's the way the company's going to go at this point. I don't think we're going to see Stardust and Goldust have a match at Fastlane, and if they happen to, I think you're just going to get another one come WrestleMania 31. I think you're just going to have the whole thing kind of come full circle because it was Dusty Rhodes back in October of 2013 at Battleground. That's how Cody Rhodes and Goldust got their job. They eventually won tag titles on 2 separate occasions. I think they're going to play into that. I think we might see Stardust and Goldust maybe like come back together a bit. Then you have them split up come WrestleMania time. In regards to Miz and Mizdow, I don't know why they've kind of like stalled back on this on their split. It seems like they're still just kind of teasing it away. Maybe they're just going to try and have Mizdow. Maybe he's the guy that wins Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Maybe his turn happens there, kind of like how it should have happened at the Royal Rumble. And then coming out of WrestleMania, you have Mizdow more of a like main focus talent rather than getting lost in the shuffle around WrestleMania time.
Yeah, I could see either thing happening. But as far as if they do have a Fastlane match, I wouldn't be surprised if Goldust goes in the Hall of Fame this year, if they have their Fastlane match and Stardust wins. And maybe we get from here until, you know, maybe this week is, you hear something this week like, you know, Stardust is just tired of Goldust and wants him gone. We know that Goldust wants to retire. Maybe we get that retirement match at Fastlane instead of WrestleMania because WrestleMania is already a pretty stacked card. I don't know. I don't know if they will do the retirement match at Mania or at Fastlane, but we do know that there's somebody that's been wrestling for close to 30 years going into the Hall of Fame this year, and we don't know who that is. Goldust has been at least close to 30 years.
I don't know.
Goldust as Dustin, but he's been wrestling for at least 30 years. So
would he be? How many guys have actually been inducted while being an active competitor? I mean, Flair was inducted. I mean, his last match was the following night. But has anyone else been in that same situation?
Well, I mean, there's been guys that get inducted and then come back and wrestle after that.
No, I mean like who were like leading into their induction were still competing.
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah, Goldust would be the second.
Yeah, I wouldn't, and I don't see that being an issue. You know, they're in California. His whole gimmick is based on Hollywood. You know, they're not in Hollywood, but they're in California. I could see it working out.
He should have been in there already, frankly, over a guy like Rikishi, with all due respect.
Oh, well, there's tons of guys in there that shouldn't be in there. It's a joke in the first place.
The whole thing means nothing.
Outside of Andre they did it for Andre the Giant. So I'm totally fine with that. But there's been so many different names that have gone into this Hall of Fame that Koko Beware got put in there a long time ago. Koko Beware.
There you go.
Who goes down as the guy that had a parrot, was a decent hand as far as the jobber goes, and when he was a face, he got over. He was over with the fans because of Frankie the Parrot, and he's the guy that got tombstoned to hell by the Undertaker in his first match with the first tombstone that just looked terrible. So there you go. Koko Beware's in there. So, blah. If people are asking about WrestleMania, we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves talking about WrestleMania because we got to get through Fastlane. I don't know what we're going to do at WrestleMania. There's potential for a bunch of matches, Sting, Triple H, triple threat match, Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton, and/or John Cena, and/or blah, blah, blah. You can throw so many different names in that hat because Seth Rollins has been going at it with a bunch of these guys. You could do the same thing with Kane and Big Show at this point because, yes, Big Show turned face on SmackDown. We're going to talk about that as well.
No, do we have
all this stuff? They're 30-man under, or not 30-man, but probably it was close last time, like 28, something like that. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is an annual thing. You're probably gonna have an IC title match, maybe. Looking at probably Rusev, John Cena. The card's getting stacked. You'll probably have a women's match, maybe. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. There's no telling what we're going to be, but they're asking about whether you're going to have a tag team title match at WrestleMania. I could see that. I could see a tag team title match maybe starting the show off.
That's pre-show, though. I think they'll put that on the pre-show.
It could be pre-show, or it could be the first match on the card. I don't know.
Nah, they need something better to open WrestleMania than probably the Usos versus the Ascension.
Yeah. So people are talking about it, and let's talk about it now. People are, since I mentioned it, people don't watch SmackDown. Yes, Big Show turned face again.
But did he? No, did he? We don't know for sure if he did. We found a disagreement with Kane.
Tag team turmoil match, blah blah blah, same stupid stuff. Big Show is he's the ultimate go-to guy for them in the fall to make a heel. And then right before WrestleMania, they bring him back as a face. Or last year it was at Royal Rumble, like right before Royal Rumble with Brock Lesnar, they make him a face. This is how they work him. It doesn't, I guess they just figure it doesn't matter. But tag team turmoil match, he knocks out Kane and is the reason why the Authority lost. And so one of the 5-point previews is directly about Big Show tonight on WWE.com. So the last line is, will the Authority be looking to punish the Giant? If that's the last line from everything else that we've seen, he is a heel. He's a face now. He's not a heel anymore. And they're gonna do something like throw him in a match with Kane and JJ as security and Seth Rollins, whoever else they want to throw him in a match with. And then I don't know what we're gonna see after that. But Big Show is a face again. It makes absolutely no sense unless I swear to God, there's no payoff to this unless this freaking Giant comes off and says, oh, well, you know what? I just remembered, because the whole storyline with him going to the Authority to save for his family, to save his job, to get, to make the money for his family, to keep the Authority in, blah, blah, blah. All stupid crap he got force-fed in the fall. When this guy came back last fall in 2013 and said, my contract is ironclad. There's nothing you can do. You can't fire me. You can't take my house. You can't do any of this. My contract is ironclad. Apparently he forgot about that at Survivor Series. He's forgotten about that for 3 or 4 freaking months as he's told the fans he did this for his family, and now he's a face again, and he's probably going to be crying on Raw because the Authority is going to fire him again, and there's no telling what's going to happen here. But the guy needs to wake up and say, oh yeah, I remember a year and a half ago when I realized that my freaking contract was ironclad, that you couldn't do anything to me. It's the stupidest thing I have ever heard of or seen. That they ran with that in the first place. We talked about it over and over again. They even did that at Survivor Series with Big Show. And now that he's face again, what can come of this that's going to make sense or actually work?
one of three things, and these are terrible, terrible ideas, but I can honestly see them happening before WrestleMania or at WrestleMania. They want to turn Big Show face because Sheamus is coming back, and he's probably going to be a heel. So they kind of wanted to switch somebody, and I do feel Sheamus might be a good fit for the Authority. So you take Big Show out of the equation, you throw Sheamus in there, maybe Big Show versus Sheamus at WrestleMania.
Oh.
Number 2, even worse idea, Big Show versus Kane at WrestleMania. Number 3, you build Big Show up as a sympathetic face, you have him win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
I just everything you just said that's the exact response. Is just,
you held your dinner down, so I mean you did.
I haven't eaten dinner yet, bro.
Thank God.
I dry heaved. I'm drinking muscadine wine, but that's about it. I ain't had dinner yet. But
all terrible ideas. I mean, Big Show is so
horrendous.
Over the hill in terms of people just caring. I mean, he's an attraction because of his size, but fans are just... The Royal Rumble was proof. Fans do not care about Kane. Fans do not care about the Big Show. But yet here we are trying to get some sort of a feud out of those two, and then Big Show versus the Authority again. Again, I say it again during the show. I don't care. P-Joe
is pretty opinionated tonight. He's saying in the chat room he's pretty daggum sure we're not going to have a triple threat match, even though that's what they're telling people backstage. So he's also pretty daggum sure that Sheamus is coming back to face Bryan. I don't know. I'm not that convinced anymore. Are you guys that convinced that Sheamus Bryan is still on the table for the second year in a row?
No, I'm not that convinced. I mean, there's reports come out that they're going to have a triple threat, or at least Vince McMahon made this executive decision. So if they do Sheamus versus Bryan at WrestleMania, I'll be a lot more surprised about it. So maybe that's the reason behind that, but I don't see that happening.
Look, Daniel Bryan should have been in the main event all along, considering his story and the fact that he never lost the title in the first place. I think, the ultimate underdog against Brock Lesnar, that was the way to go. But yet here they are in this situation with Roman Reigns as the #1 contender, at least now through Fastlane. I'm slowly turning against the idea of a triple threat, only because in recent weeks, one of the biggest issues I've had with the programming is how oversaturated it is with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, and I think this is a perfect example of too much of a good thing, I guess, and we're seeing, they almost had the same issue over the summer when we saw, like, every other segment had John Cena or Dean Ambrose during the lull periods when they were trying to build up a contender for Seth Rollins. And now we're seeing
Dean Ambrose was getting over, and because they wanted to see Dean Ambrose in 5 segments instead of John Cena.
Exactly, but yet here WWE is between a rock and a hard place because you're going to WrestleMania, but you can't have your World Heavyweight Champion on every show leading into the big event. So what do? You have the 2 #1 contenders, at least for now, show up as much as possible, get as much airtime as possible, so the main event people actually care about. So as popular as Daniel Bryan is, I think this is slowly backfiring. The crowds are not reacting as heavily as they used to him, and then Roman Reigns, the reactions are becoming more and more mixed by the day.
I think it's what we've talked about from day one. They never should have brought Daniel Bryan back before Royal Rumble if this was going to be the case, and damn sure shouldn't have put him in his first in-ring interview back. Say, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania, because the fans got behind him again, instantly, right back. And now, I mean, people are smart. Triple H said it himself. Kayfabe's dead. Everybody's smart. And how do you book this? What do you do? And that's been, and the fact that he has no control over what happens on Raw. It's Vince. So it's all Vince. Which we saw Cesaro. We thought we saw Cesaro. This morning at 8 o'clock, I'm up. I'm doing stuff, and I see Cesaro's Twitter account, and I'm like, whoa, okay. Cesaro's airing his grievances online. He's either quitting, or he's getting fired, or he got hacked. We learned pretty much immediately by a guy claiming that he had hacked Cesaro, that he had learned his password and had hacked Cesaro and had said everything that Cesaro had apparently said. But aired his grievances, the fan did, under the moniker of Cesaro, and talked about the fact that Vince doesn't have his finger on the pulse anymore, and that's how all of us feel. And I when I woke up this morning, I was like, wow, Cesaro's literally just laying it all out there. But that should be being said backstage. Now, none of the talent can say it, or they're getting fired. Period. But Triple H and Stephanie McMahon should seriously be having some conversation. Kevin Dunn, who's the ultimate yes man for Vince McMahon, should be saying, we have 3 hours to fill, and most of the stuff that you put on TV sucks, and I'm having to direct it. Like, somebody has to step up and say, The reason your main roster's pissed off at NXT is because of how it's run and how it's written and how it's produced, and your 26 freaking writers backstage are writing absolutely terrible stuff for people to say, for people to do, for angles to play out for over a year. It's bad. It's just all bad. And it's gotten to the point where something needs to change, period.
And the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn storyline was completely rushed, obviously, because they moved TakeOver up with WrestleMania. But the lead up to that match was better than what we've got for the main event of WrestleMania so far.
It was well, I mean, there was a little bit longer. There was 8 weeks, 8 full weeks to build to that match, and it was done excellently. And you know what? We'll probably see Kevin Owens as the champion for a year or almost a year, and Sami Zayn will have to fight through the ranks to come back and get his rematch. Because it's going to be Balor versus Owens next, at the next special.
They've done such a good job that we don't want any of these guys to come up to the main roster. We want everyone to stay down in developmental, and that's a sign of just how well Triple H and his 1 or 2 writers have done with that brand. I mean, all of these guys are getting an equal amount of time. I mean, I've seen the spoilers for the coming week. There's going to be a couple of new faces that we're going to see in terms of getting a push for championships, and some former WWE guys returning as well. It's just exciting television, and for 3 hours of Monday Night Raw every week to not be nearly as exciting as NXT, that's a big problem.
Yeah, and it's such a pain in my lower intestine to hear that, like Kevin Dunn or Vince McMahon say that someone like Charlotte won't be marketable. We'll have to change her when she comes up because she doesn't look like a supermodel.
That's such crap.
Did you see the match that they put on Wednesday night? I don't want Charlotte to come up. I don't want any of these people to come up on the main roster. If they're really if Triple H is serious about creating an alternate brand, they need to stay down there. But I'm saying, like, as far as the storyline goes with Owens and Zayn, you can literally pull out a whole nother year-long build towards Sami Zayn winning the title again from this storyline. And you know what? They'll probably do it because Dusty Rhodes is the guy pushing the pencil with Triple H. And he's known for that.
At some point in the next, if you want a bold prediction, at some point over the next 5 WrestleManias, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to have a WrestleMania match. Like, that's a feud, and kudos to Triple H for just acknowledging the fact that those two have a history. Not a lot of guys would have done that.
Pulling out pictures, all kinds of stuff.
You're choking on your hatred for WWE
I
right
am.
now, Doug. So much phlegm of Fandango and bunnies.
What a rush. I don't know what's going on.
Jesus Christ.
I can't talk right now. It's just
Really?
gone.
Someone's hacked Doug's throat.
I don't know what to say. I can't talk. Y'all keep talking. I can't talk right now.
All right, Alex. Some posts from last week.
Let's see what we can talk about here. What else is on tap for another awesome showing of Monday Night Raw?
By the way, do we only have like 4 confirmed matches / segments for Fastlane at this point? I mean, I don't think they've even officially announced Barrett versus Ambrose, have they?
I think they've kind of alluded to it like multiple times, I think. So you'll likely see that. You'll see there's a Divas match, a U.S. title match, the main event, the Sting Triple H thing.
Yeah.
So there's really not much that they need to necessarily fill out. You have to. The big thing will be is whether what direction guys like Seth Rollins, Ryback, Ziggler go, because you would think they're all going to be thrown in one match, or maybe just split them up with 2 matches since you have Big Show turning babyface once again.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get the 6-man, but now so much for that. We don't know what the hell's going on with the Authority at Fastlane.
Yeah, you still may get the big guy and the little guy versus the other two. And you just won't have Kane and Big Show in there. You'll have Kane versus Big Show in a singles match, which is going to be awesome.
If WWE wants to do right by the fans at Fastlane, they will have Seth Rollins one-on-one with Dolph Ziggler. And they obviously have the storyline to push it right now.
I don't
the
know
match
what
they should have done
there.
after Survivor Series.
I bet we see the IC title match from Barrett and Ambrose. One of the 5-point previews for tonight was how does Ambrose get back at Barrett and finally convince him that he deserves an IC title match. So.
Am I the only one who, like, that pairing doesn't intrigue me in the slightest? Like, it's weird to say because I'm a fan of both guys, but paired together, I don't get it. Yeah, it's going to be a fine match, but just the pairing, contrast of styles, personalities, Barrett and Ambrose, and this whole BNZ thing, which is the stupidest thing ever. But I thought so was Bad News Barrett, the gimmick of Bad News, but he made that into gold, so let's hope he can turn this into something.
They haven't really gotten much TV time yet together, too, because it kind of just forced... 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said that Ambrose just cut a promo saying, "I want the IC title." They really haven't interacted that much.
I don't know what to do with Dean Ambrose. Have him come when we're shut down. When we're snowed in. Have him come to the office and show him in the office so we can say that he at least saw pictures on the wall. And that's why he wants the IC title. This is the dumbest build-up for an IC title match I've ever seen. The fact that Ambrose just wants to be a picture on the wall. I mean, I guess it works because he's a lunatic, right?
Yeah, so but that's not being a lunatic. That's not a lunatic.
Pictures on the wall, and he's like, I want to be on the wall. So if he is the I can do whatever I want lunatic fringe, then why doesn't he just take a picture into WWE headquarters that you got in the last time? Why don't he just take a picture in there and hang it up? The whole build to this is stupid. I don't understand why this is WWE's logic here. You could have built that match with both of these guys where Dean Ambrose really, really just wants to reach the next rung on the ladder, grab the next brass ring. He was a United States champion. He wants to get the IC title so they can move towards the actual championship, the actual WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You can make him climb the ladder like guys used to. But no, he just wants to get his picture on the wall, so that's why we're doing it.
He was the talk of the summer, guys. Dean Ambrose, biggest face in the company. Look where he is now.
It's just dumb. It's dumb. He's so over, and they're just using it as they have nothing else to do with this guy for WrestleMania. So we're gonna put him in an IC title feud for the next 2 to 3 months, and that's what he'll do. He'll be with Barry. He'll just be doing IC title stuff because he wants a picture on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24 writers couldn't come up with anything better than 26. He wants his photo on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Even 22 guys just sitting there with their thumbs up their butts, and the other 24 are watching cartoons and brainstorming.
Well, the funny thing is there's 26 guys, and it comes down to one person. 26 people are writing all these different things for 3 hours worth of material, and one guy picks what actually gets on TV.
And that guy needs a reality chick.
He needs
a replacement. That's what he needs.
He needs a definite replacement. He needs to just bite the bucket or something because he's not going to retire.
At least change the colors of the ring ropes to yellow and black so I can pretend that I'm watching NXT. Can you do that, Vince?
Right.
Just pull the wool over my eyes and just distract me for a little bit.
That might help. Yeah.
Have Kevin Owens' music play once and just just have an hour of just fans dancing to Sami Zayn's entrance music. That would be fun.
The Zaniacs.
The Zaniacs. I like his new T-shirt. It's like zombie on it or something. What is that?
No, it's Sami Zayn. It's like a caricature of him doing his little dance, his little two-step.
Best entrance music in wrestling, and it's not even close.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. So the only other thing we haven't talked about is the whole Cena Rusev thing.
Yeah, because we care.
So Cena has a legitimate eye injury. It's a cornea that's scratched. You could actually see it Monday night. They tried to make it seem like Rusev made it worse, so that he didn't have to work live shows this past weekend. And now, of course, he's going to be wrestling on Sunday, and he's not 100%, which means Rusev can win and it not be that big of a deal because he's not 100%. And John Cena, when John Cena is 100%, like he will be at WrestleMania, he'll get his victory. I'm just excited that we're talking about like John Cena in a mid-card match.
Same as last year.
That's like the upside here. I just don't want to see him beat Rusev.
That just made me wonder, like, is Bray Wyatt even booked for Fastlane?
No, he's not booked in a match. The only thing that Bray Wyatt has done is told the Undertaker to come find him.
All right, which is awesome.
And we're not. No, the promos have been phenomenal. He's been doing them since December, and I've been saying, guys, there's no way that he's not talking about the Undertaker here. And, of course, now we know the Undertaker's coming back next Monday night. He's supposed to be coming back next Monday night. So take that with a grain of salt, but he's been meeting with the people at WWE and is supposed to be on Raw next Monday, the night after Fastlane.
You know, Cena and Rusev's biggest problem right now is that so many people expected this match to be at WrestleMania, so everyone's kind of looking past Fastlane to see what the feud's going to look like for the big show. Is it going to be a tag team match? Is it just going to be a simple rematch? Right now, we have zero clue.
Yeah, no, we have no idea.
It can't be a straight-up rematch, though. They can't.
No. There's got to be some kind of odds placed against Rusev that if you're going to keep him strong for Cena to be able to win. I don't know.
God, if Cena wins.
It's really not. It's not that important.
Yeah.
Nothing about the main roster is that important right now, except for Sting is going to be wrestling a match in WWE. Like that sells WrestleMania.
Does it?
And I think it does. You know, that's going to be the best match on the card as far as marquee value.
Oh yeah, totally. It won't be the best match on the card, but it'll be the best.
It'll be a good one.
Care about the most.
The best match on the card. No, it's the best match on the card as far as marquee value.
Yeah.
That's going to sell Mania to a lot of casual fans. Fans that especially if they allude to it only being, you know, Sting's only match ever. They'll get butts in the seats just from Sting being a part of it. So I really just think they're cruising on this. I don't really care train.
This is one
Vince said it in an interview himself this past week. Vince said it. It wasn't even an interview. It was a freaking press conference last Thursday when they revealed the earnings. Last Thursday morning, I'm listening to this earnings call from Vince McMahon, and a guy asks him about the whole controversial Royal Rumble ending and all these different things. And Vince mocks the fans. I wrote a story about this last Thursday. Vince mocks the fans and says, "Oh, I don't care what these people think." Blah, blah, blah. He's basically just admitting that he's a master troll. I don't care. It's whatever. I don't. All these people that complain and all this canceled WWE Network stuff. We're well past our break-even mark now on the WWE Network subscription mark, thing. So they're fine with that. And now it's, hey, you know what? You're gonna complain, but I know you're still gonna be watching the next night, and that's how wrestling fans are. Complain online. I'm never watching again. You're watching. You're watching tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So. Vince has your number, and he knows. It doesn't matter what he does. You're still going to watch.
Yeah, either you're watching it because you're entertained, or you're watching it because you want to badmouth it and see how awful it gets. Either way, you're watching it.
Yeah, either way, you're still watching it. So,
It doesn't say who hates it in the ratings. It just says who's watching it.
No. Twitter says who hates it. That's it.
Twitter don't mean crap to Vince.
And dirt sheets where people comment and leave bad grammar responses to all of our stories and try to pick fights. And call us stupid names, compare us to famous people. Whatever. Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Doug is drained tonight.
I'm done, man. I can barely talk. I don't know what happened, man.
The well is dry. It's because you're stealing my gimmick, and you're both wearing toques. I couldn't put mine on because three's a crowd. So I'm gonna remember this for next week. By the way,
dude, it's iced here. It's freezing in this house.
It's like negative 10 degrees outside.
It's negative 30 here.
So you should calm down and
shut your lips.
Well, you live in a cabin for crying out loud.
South Carolina's at 29 degrees. That's not normal for us.
That's warm.
Right?
It's warm.
Right?
It's so hot. Witches are dipping their nipples in hot coffee. It's so.
I got an inch. We got an inch of ice on the power lines. I'm really surprised that our power is still on. So we don't do the snow thing. We don't have the snow down here. We have the ice. So.
We got it too, man. I'm
not saying
about the ice storm. You want me to go back on Twitter and start complaining about an ice storm and no power?
Please,
for a week?
no.
See, just like the RTZs and the Way to the North, brother. You don't want to see me using no hashtag on Twitter.
You can follow him at Walter Sports since he decided to be lazy and not throw a lower third of it up on its own. So.
You know who I am, people.
At Walter Sports.
Your favorite Canadian.
At Glass Mode ALB for B-Song. At Doug O'Mac and/or at WrestleRumors for me. I'll be live tweeting during Raw tonight. Enjoy the show. If you don't enjoy the show, come complain to me at WrestleRumors, and we'll have fun. We'll just complain together. Memes, comments, disrespecting other people. That's what makes America America. That's how it is. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. We had a good turnout. So we don't have anything else to talk about.
It's Family Day in Canada. It's Family Day in Toronto, by the way. We have our own holiday now.
What is
Family Day?
It's our excuse to have the Mondays off because you guys are off today, right? Because it's President's Day. Do you get it off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
I don't have a day job anyway, so.
We're Canada. We needed to copy your ass, so we created Family Day, and which means absolutely nothing.
Dumb.
So happy Family Day to all the
Holiday.
Canadians out there. Happy Jericho Day. I was gonna say the other Chris's name. I stopped myself and before I said that. Also, I'm not
Don't
gonna
say
be.
Happy Benoit Day, because then there'll be families in Atlanta locking their doors. Don't do that.
Yeah, but happy Family Day to all the Canadians out there. We hope you enjoy Monday Night Raw tonight.
Family Day is Benoit Day.
Damn it, Doug! I swear to God.
Enjoy the show. We'll talk to you later on.